So I'm glad our friends with cameras are still here. Because there are some folks in their profession, not them, they're great, who would tell us that we are just wasting our time. That this is a Republican state, y'all. That folks like Sherilyn just pack it up, right? We hear these messages all the time that the best days of our party are behind us. But we know that being a Democrat for us has not just ever been about being a part of a party. It's been about our communities. It's been about our families. It's been about the future of our Commonwealth, where Republicans would have us go backwards. The president likes to say, and I agree, that we are in a fight for the soul of America. Well, let me add to that we are in a fight for the conscience of our Commonwealth. We have seen what the Republicans will do with power. You know, it's that old saying, they caught the bus and then figured out they know how to drive. We've seen what they've done in the Senate. We've seen what they've done with control of the House. And trust me, I'm so glad that Rocky is where he is right now, but Speaker Rocky Atkins would have meant more jobs, sooner than ever before. And so we know the stakes are high. But we're up for the challenge. All of our candidates, one, we've just flat out recruited the Republican Party. You look at our candidates, the degree to which they operate with dignity and honor and respect, but also understand that this isn't just about who we send to Frankfurt, and it's not just about who we send to Congress. It's about who sits on our school board, y'all. They put that out of our school board, so we got to make sure we've got good folks sitting on our school board. We've got to make sure we've got good folks sitting in our city councils and in the mayor's seat and in our judge executive seats and our magistrate seats. It is all on the line.
That's right.
And let me tell you this. You know, Republicans had 100 years to salivate over what it would be like to be in power. We don't have 100 years to course correct. You know, the lieutenant governor's got a 2.5-year-old, I've got a 4-year-old. And let me tell you, it matters to me the kind of Commonwealth that Camden and Coleman and Carter and Shayla grow up in. It matters to all of us. That's why we do what we do. And so, as the governor said, these candidates, every last one of you, if you're a candidate on the ballot, wave your hands. Let's give it up for our candidates. They have done every last thing that we can ask of them. And so it is our turn now. Early voting has started. So make sure that you show up. And if you need to vote early, if you want to vote early, you do so. But I'm going to end where I began. Make sure that you are going and you are deputized on the behalf of the Democratic Party to go out and spread the gospel. If you think you've talked to enough folks, talk to some more. If you feel a little shy about talking to them, well, feel shy later on. Understand there's too much at stake right now. Wave it off. I am the most introverted extrovert you will ever meet. It took a lot of coffee and prayer for me just to get up here today. But I know the stakes, and you do too. Last thing I'll tell you is this. I was on the phone last night with my mother and my aunt, which is always an interesting thing when they both call. But my aunt is a first-time Kentucky voter. And I'm so proud to finally have her in Kentucky and to be voting for none other than Sherilyn Stevenson. But at the end of that call, she said, Coleman, do you know why, you want to know why we just put you through 45 minutes of telling us who to vote for and why? And I said, sure, because that wasn't a question. Yeah. She's 75. It wasn't a question. It was a sit down, son. We're going to tell you a story. But the short version of the story is this. This month would have been my grandmother's 103rd birthday. And I think about my grandmother often as I serve as your chair because she would just be dumbfounded by the way this country has changed, let alone that her little chubby grandson is leading the party in a state she never visited, never felt she would probably be welcomed in. But her family has a drastically different life. And the reason we have a drastically different life in this Commonwealth today is because Democrats showed up. It's because Democrats showed up and Democrats voted. It was because when we voted and we showed up and we won, what we did with the power and the awesome responsibility of governing wasn't just to sit on our hands, it was to move our Commonwealth forward to a place where I could serve as the first black chair of any Commonwealth. So when people tell you that elections aren't important, when they tell you there's not a lick of difference between us and them, when they tell you that if we are entrusted once again with the awesome power and responsibility of moving this Commonwealth forward in the House, in the Senate, at the local levels, that we just won't do anything with it, you tell them they are so wrong. Because our history is our prologue. Our history shows what we value and who we value. And as the governor said, that when we win these elections, we win them as Democrats, but we govern as Kentuckians first. So, we have 4 days to defy history. We have 4 days, and this is where I say the governor and Rocky and the lieutenant governor, they go high. I'm not Michelle Obama. We have 4 days to make liars out of all those Republicans and all of those folks who have said that we cannot do this. We have 4 days to make sure that we send a solid message, not just that the Kentucky Democratic Party is alive, but that Kentucky is worth fighting for. Can we prove them wrong? Will we show up, Kentucky? Will we win these seats, Kentucky? Let's go out, let's register, let's vote, let's walk precincts, let's walk every door, knock every door, send every text message that you can. And on Tuesday night, understand we've got 2 more things we've got to do. There are 2 amendments on the ballot. And I'll make it real simple for you. It's no on both of them.
Amen.
I love our legislators, but it's no on letting them call themselves into session and the Republicans just take more of our hard-earned tax dollars to do whatever they're going to do. I don't know, maybe Robert Stoppage needs a new office. It would be something if the speaker could find his, but that's a whole different story that we're going to tell. And most importantly, it is no on letting Daniel Cameron and the Republican majority decide the health care outcomes for women in this Commonwealth. I stand with everyone that I know. I have been married for 17 years, been with Victoria for 18 years. And let me just tell you a secret. I have never once asked Daniel Cameron for any marital advice. I've never once called him and said, do I need your permission to go to the doctor or Miss Victoria? We're not going to start now. We're not going to do that. We are better than Amendment 2. We are better than Amendment 1. We are better than the Republican power grabs that are aimed at dividing us and taking the place of doing the hard work of governing. We know the hard work of governing. That's why we have a #1 economy. That's why we're making the investments in education and workforce and development and healthcare. All of those things that they left behind since they've taken over the majority. We've had 2 people sitting at the executive level that have stood in the breach. It's time we change the math. It's time we reconfigure the folks on the board. And so we can do this. We're going to vote no. We're going to vote these amendments down. We're going to vote yes and send so many good Democrats to every level of government in our Commonwealth. And the last thing is this. on Wednesday, if you don't wake up tired, you didn't do enough.
That's right.
If you don't wake up on Wednesday with just achy bones and foggy brain and all of that, you've done something wrong. But I'm going to tell you what my Wednesday is going to look like. My Wednesday is going to look like getting some sleep, taking my kids to school, and then Wednesday night, I'm going to turn it on Fox News. And I'm going to watch Tucker Carlson lose his stuff when his homeboy Rand Paul gets sent home. And when they are scratching their heads trying to figure out how we re-elected Sherilyn Stevenson, how we sent Susan to the Senate, how Chuck, how did we do it? They're going to wonder how we did it. And how we did it is this. We worked to make it happen. As Democrats, nothing has been given to us. In fact, the odds have been stacked against us.
That's right.
But we worked to make it happen. We worked on behalf of the people of this Commonwealth. And as Rocky said, we took our Commonwealth back. Let's get to work, Democrats.